Welcome back, friends. My name is Rogan, and you are watching The Mysterious Stoner in a Bowler. Picking up from where we left off last time, I was driving a truck all on my own now. I had paid off my LASIK surgery. I had no worries in the world, really. And I was growing myself, or trying to grow myself through learning what I could while listening to YouTube while driving. And I had decided to, well, in addition to working on myself, open myself to whatever the universe decided to throw at me. I hadn't had any serious luck with dating sites before, but I had decided that this time I was going to take it much more relaxed and not really try, to not be desperate, to just let happen what happened. And wouldn't you know, something did happen. She actually messaged me first. She was 4 to 7 years older than me. She had a beautiful face, beautiful young face. And she was thick in all the right places and a bit then some. But I like variety, so I didn't mind the and then some. She was also Canadian, and she already had 2 kids of her own. Yes, that did make me seriously hesitate at first. But I had already opened myself to this possible scenario already. See, back when I was even younger, I had learned about, well, okay, as a Christian, divorce was bad. And marrying someone who was divorced, according to my parents' particular version of beliefs, was that it was wrong to marry someone who is divorced. We can get into it another time, but let's just keep on going. The point is, I came to respect men who could fall in love with a woman who had children, raise those children like they were his own, and do a good job of it, of loving the kids as his own and the woman as his own aunt. Because that's a really hard thing to do. And back then, when I was acquiring this respect, I didn't think at the time that I could be such a person. But by now, by the time I was a trucker, I thought, why should I cut myself off if my soulmate happens to be a woman who has children already? I'd be missing out. If I were cut out for that, I would be stopping myself short of something really good that I could have. And I didn't necessarily want a relationship with a woman who already had children, but I had officially opened myself up to the possibility. And so shortly after is when I met this woman. So I started talking to this girl. As it turned out, we had a number of similar interests and beliefs. I liked smoking pot. She actually needed to smoke pot for her medical condition that she has. I was interested in the spiritual realm in general, understanding spirits, ghosts, things of that nature, and she happened to be a witch. Not part of a coven or a group or followed any specific guidelines, some very basic and general ones that most witches follow, because most witches are good. I also had unexplored and certain interests of a sexual nature that I didn't know how to define or understand, and she happened to be into BDSM. And so she was able to help me on a number of things in learning. and it was quite an experience. So as you can imagine, I was becoming quite interested in this girl, and she didn't mind my past so much for being so different. Hers, she had a troubled past as well, and she had some rather serious PTSD as a result of some of it. She also has a condition called fibromyalgia, which comes with a huge variety of symptoms per individual that can be completely different. And in addition to that, she had other physical ailments that weren't even connected to the fibromyalgia. Now, the latter might not sound like a very attractive feature to have in a soulmate, but it didn't turn me away because I was used to, well, alright, let me rewind a bit. Before I left home, both my parents were diagnosed with having Parkinson's disease. My dad he's still alive. He has it significantly worse than my mother. And before I left home, I took a lot of care of my parents because my other siblings were moved out and gone, and I was the last one. And as I was moving out of their home, they were going to stay with one of my other siblings that were going to keep an eye on them and take care of them. That way I could move out, get on with my life, and it was good timing, good arrangement all around. But the point is, I had already had experience taking care of someone who had physical issues. Not on a medical level, but I had a good amount of experience just from dealing with my parents. Driving them around, doing groceries for them, taking care of different things around the house that they could no longer do, that I had to learn how to do. And it eventually became no big deal for me to do it for them. And so I kind of thought, maybe my life has gone the way it has so that I can be prepared to meet my soulmate. This could be my soulmate. So I decided, why not? I'm going to open myself to this completely. And we officially started dating. Didn't take us that long, but we fell for each other pretty hard. Now, of course, I was kind of concerned about the kids liking me, because I never know when kids are gonna like me or not. I like kids in general. Sometimes, well, some kids, you know how kids are. Some are more bold and outgoing than others, and some are very shy, so. And I can come across as a big, scary guy, especially to little kids. But both kids really liked me, and we got along really well. The oldest, I think she was about 10 or 9 when I met them for the first time. She has autism. She has something on the autistic spectrum. Not sure what the correct definition is. But she has that and some other physical ailments that she unfortunately inherited from her mother. But she's a wonderful child nonetheless. And then her younger sister, who is quite the little monkey. She was probably around, I think she was 5 or 6 when I met her. And she learned to be very independent, and she learned how to help her sister out a lot with school, with getting ready for school every day, with chores, things getting done around the house between the two of them. And she could do a lot of things for herself that a lot of other kids couldn't do. She was really good with animals too. Between all three of them, I felt like I was at home when I was around them. More so than being around my parents when I lived with them or anywhere else. It was the most genuinely happy that I ever felt in my entire life. But having to cross a border to go visit her and her kids was a bit of a challenge. Plus, if I was going to eventually marry her and live with her, one of us was going to have to move, one or three of us, and we all know who it would be a lot easier for. But if I wanted to be with her, there was a lot I was going to have to do. But I had some other things that I had to take care of before doing that. And we're going to talk about that in the next episode, because this little bit of information coming up is kind of important. I hope you've been enjoying my series so far. I hope you'll leave a like, subscribe, click the notification bell, leave comments, questions down below, please. I would love to answer whatever you have. I will talk more about the spiritual aspects and witchy things of that nature that I got into in the next video a bit, so you could always hold back on your questions until then. But feel free to ask away. Anyways, my friends, stay safe. I will see you next time, and until then, my friends, farewell.